When I was about 28, after a decade as a professional comedian, I realized one night in LA that the purpose of my life had always been to free people from concern. Choosing to free people from concern got me to the top of a mountain. Look where I am. Look what I get to do. Everywhere I go. I'm going to get emotional because when I tap into this, it really is extraordinary to me. I did something that made people present their best selves to me wherever I go. I am at the top of the mountain, and I was, and the only one I hadn't freed was myself.
I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
And that's when my search for identity deepened. I wondered who I'd be without my fame. Who would I be if I said things that people didn't want to hear?
We don't matter.
You're supposed to say, you know, we're important. You're supposed to say, it's all going to be all right. And you're supposed to say that, you know, whatever you dream can come true. And you're supposed to say all those things. I do believe in manifestation, power of that kind of stuff, but I don't believe that any of it matters. You know, this mattering is to me a human construct.
I used to think Jim Carrey is all that I was. Just a flickering light, a dancing shadow, the great nothing masquerading as something you can name.
I don't exist, so they're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. You know, Jim Carrey was a less intentional character, right, because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character.
Because ultimately, we're not the avatars we create. We're not the pictures on the film stock. We are the light that shines through. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling.
You know, everything is divine. You know, there's no thing that isn't divine. Everything is divine, and I'm that. I'm not the body. I'm you guys, and I'm this thing, and I'm this thing, and I'm the cameras, and it doesn't matter to me what's happening on them. Sometimes I still have the groove cut in me that, you know, wants my hair to look nice.
Right.
It's an ancient thing. You know, there's still ego there, but I don't. I'm finding that ultimately the freedom from it is something people are kind of hungry for in a way. Right. They're like, I don't want to be me either.
Right.
You know, and I go, well, look, great, because you never have been.
To find real peace, you have to let the armor go. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory.
Welcome to the Awakening Podcast. Welcome to the Awakening Podcast. Hi, Jacqueline.
Good morning. Good morning.
Great. Today we have a really exciting topic. We're going to be talking about living the resurrected life.
That's a pretty large topic, but I think that motivational clip with Jim Carrey was really, really powerful. That he had as well come to this, you know, mountaintop, achieved all of these amazing cars and clothes and fame and wealth, and was an individual that had the gift of recognizing that none of that mattered. And so that's kind of the topic today is we have talked about, and I have taken the journey and then talked about what it was going to be like to get there. right? Isn't that kind of everyone's conversation? Is what do we do to get there? What are the steps that we do to get there? What are the practices? The awakening is just part of, it's just the beginning. That's why last week I said I feel like I want to change the title now to the awakened, or even the risen, or the erected, or the ascended, or masters of moments. In other words, we become moment masters of the divine, creating upon the canvas of reality. But very few, oh my gosh, have and are speaking about what it is like to experience, or to be in, live in, walk in the resurrected life, the life of crossing from the human into the divine. So the awakening is the beginning of recognizing that there's something other than this human. And as you begin experiencing, we always talk about these glimpses, that we get when we're out in nature or we meditate. We get these aha moments of this something beyond the veil. But what happens when we go beyond the veil? When we walk across the Jordan? When we receive that gift of resurrection? And so that's kind of the topic. And I think that we will be moving towards that conversation because I experienced that it's not something that you acquire, it's something that you realize. So, in that twinkling of an eye, something happened. My psyche had developed in faith enough. I had so surrendered, gone through the suffering, the pain, wanted so much to rise and let go of all of the things that I was told that I was. And there came that moment that all of that left, and what remained is my true divine self. And so now I speak from a totally different position than I have ever spoken in my entire life.
Yeah, I just think the thing that pops in my mind is like Lord of the Rings, when the wizard goes and he's in the gray, and then he shifts to the white wizard, and then the Lion Witch in the Wardrobe, where it's kind of a the teacher goes out and becomes a different type of teacher, right?
Well, if you remember in the Lord of the Rings,
Gandalf, that's the name, right?
Was battling the
Right.
beast.
Right.
And if you remember, he fell off the cliff into the abyss with the beast.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this, the war of all worlds that took place where he fought. And if we correlate that to our personal journey, where we fight all of the beasts that come together and represent this massive, dragon, fire breathing beast that has become the culmination of all of our beasts. And so Gandalf falls into this darkness, the abyss, and he rose, and he said, I have no idea how long I've been gone, However, I went in as Gandalf the Grey, and now I am Gandalf the White. Do you remember that?
Right. Yeah, and I don't think there's an explanation about how he came back or anything. Do you remember any of that?
Well, I mean,
He
I
just kind of
can just
appears on a horse, right?
I can just tell you that if we take this into a personal, my personal identity, which is which is going to be everyone's journey. It's that journey through the valley of the shadow of death. It's that journey through the valley of the shadow of death where 1,000 fall at your side and 10,000 are falling at your right side. But you're still maintaining your persistence, your intention. You're still disciplining yourself to keep your eyes fixed on the light. And then you're willing to go into the abyss to finally destroy that beast, the culmination of all beasts. When you hit that point where and only the divine code in you knows the unlocking sequence of the moment that you're all in takes place. Because if you're not all in, then you you get burned up with ego that still has attachments, that is identifying with the old energy, the old programs, and you lose any self at all. So 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 going in, you finally have the power, the development of mind. You have acquired the understanding. You begin to understand the dimension of heaven versus the lower dimension of earth. You begin to recognize that there is an absolute power, that there's an overcoming power, there's a conquering power. And when you get developed enough, like the samurai who goes through the process of becoming the greatest warrior, wielding a sword, and then he comes to the point where he is such an expert of wielding the power of the sword, but the whole purpose is to lay the sword down. And so you realize that you are willing to jump into the ultimate absolute power, not even as the lower man quite comprehending that you're gonna make it out. I mean, you go in thinking, okay, I'm here's my death. I mean, because as a lower human man made of dust, that's the thought is, oh my God, this is my death. Gandalf, I am sure, went into the abyss with the dragon, questioning, I'm just the gray. I don't know, but I'm going in because it's coded in me. It's my mission. And when you get to that point and you do that, the blessing, the um, the experience that passes any human understanding, um, then you come back as Gandalf the White, and all the timelines and ages and lifetimes and culminations of programs and evils upon evils, the most horrific evil ever perpetrated on any human being ever. When you conquer that last evil, you rise into this place that you just go, oh my God, it never mattered. It was all a stage.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
victory, that liberation is what I've spoke of prior to the experience of this, the resurrection.
Hmm.
Jesus came to give a message of resurrection while living, not resurrection after dying. And of course, you know, our interpretations of that have so skewed our understanding of resurrection while living. I mean, Jesus came to the planet he came out of the grave, resurrected, and walked on earth as a resurrected man.
Hmm. Right, and that's such an important, especially this time of year when we're in Easter or the Easter season. Um, Such an important message about rebirth and regeneration, and the confidence that we can regenerate our bodies. If we really look carefully at what we're doing, the relationships we have, the things we're putting in our body, all these things, and also really, like you said, the key thing is really where your mind is and where your intention is.
The intention um, is 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 one of the biggest tools, the most powerful tools in enabling the man of dust to become the man of heaven.
Hmm.
The intention, the energy of intention, when 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 put out there in earnest and honest intending, heaven, that's 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 standing at the gate of heaven. That's the knocking on the door. And that's the door, that's when the door that no man can close will open, is through intention. When you mean it, heaven knows that. Heaven aligns with that energy. And when you are ready for the all in and the total death of the man of dust to become the man of spirit, um, it will be given. So, well, we're right at our first break.
Wow. Well, thanks. I'm glad the analogy with the Lord of the Rings was appropriate.
Oh, it's just so such
Yeah.
a visual. If
Right.
you're a
We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us. This is the Awakening Podcast. See you in a minute. Welcome back, guys. We're just right in the middle of the Awakening Podcast. Jacqueline was describing um, a, her beautiful experience that she kind of went into length about last week, and just to follow up on that about how to ground that resurrected energy in your everyday life and hold the intention. Is that
That's beautiful. That's perfect. That's perfectly spoken. Is that, and this is just this is the first time on the planet that humans will be doing this. Yes, we've talked about this before. Enoch, Elisha, Abraham, Buddha, um, Muhammad, uh, Jesus. Yes, there have been many prophets sent, or many messengers, ascended masters sent to to convey this message of this time when this event would take place. And how many years have we all spent listening to people that had the years figured out? The last 70 years of Daniel started in 1948 when Jerusalem became its own recognized what state, nation, whatever, and then you do the 50 years, which is your and how many, there was the 2012, then we went through the blood moons, and then we, so we've waited now for some time. I mean, even Paul, uh, walking with Christ, w- w- thought it would happen in his lifetime. And so the unfolding of the event is something that humans have been doing this for 2,000 years and getting tired. Like, when on earth is this going to happen? I'm telling you, um, the magic, the wonder. Okay, so so Romans 8:18 talks about the glory which will, which shall be revealed in us. Okay, so so all of these parables have spoken of this event, and I'm telling you, it's happening. And another thing is, we talked about last week, was the the new moon in Aries this year was the beginning of the new year cycle. Happens every year. And then the energies of the planet go through the 12 zodiacs for 12 months, and then we begin that cycle again the following year in Aries. So I said, and interestingly, how if you think about it, Easter is always around that Aries April time, which is the message of resurrection, is the new beginning. And so I said that this particular new beginning was not just a 1 year cycle. We were beginning the energies of a completed time. So the old timeline, literally, energetically, um, the energy grid, the ley lines, the morphogenetic template, the magnetic template of the Earth grid is complete. It is complete. So she now is ready, able, and will support the human that is conveyed into the transformation. So now the glory that is revealed shall be supported energetically with the new timeline and the new matrix of reality. So the waiting is over. This message is going to be difficult to convey because it seems like it's been forever, and then the conversation is, well, how do you know? And all I can tell you is I know because I did it. I received it. That's I maybe I'm the only one that now can say that. I don't know. Now you're going to say, well, she's mad, bat, crazy. Well, I've been diagnosed with mad, bat, crazy. I know what that is like. And this is so far from being crazy. This is so real that um ah,
Yeah, well, I think for folks that maybe haven't been diagnosed as being crazy, I think it more is around our intuition and around the knowingness that the path that we were on in life, maybe we got a lot of resistance in areas where we were like, well, if I did this and I did the right thing and I had the right alignment, the right education, the right circle of friends, the amount of money I was making, the jobs, and if those things for whatever reason didn't result in the satisfaction or the place you felt like you were really going with your life, your mission, your goals, your kind of your heart, right? It didn't align with that, but that was part of the experience to learn that.
well, that is the mechanics of evolution. So the beautiful thing is that this conversation now is coded in each human's DNA. So the DNA is coded with a quantum energy program. And when the moment of 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 the beginning happens, and Earth has received her quantum shift. Her morphogenetic template has shifted into the new atomic structure that receives the higher vibrations more directly and absolutely. That energy from Earth, the resonance from Earth is going to begin, as well as the combination of the stargates open from heaven. Now you have this union between the mother and the father, this union of the birth of the children, and the alignment is proper. And so the DNA coding is activated, and there is a sense of, I know this. I feel that what is being said is true, and I am ready. And so this quantum shift is not something that you have to eat the right food, practice exactly every single day, be disciplined well enough that all of your programs are properly ordered, and 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 you record all of your feelings and all of your comings and all of your doings, and your analyzing has become perfect because you're still now have just mastered the highest ego possible. Like you've become the ego guru. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Someone's knocking on the door. I'll be right back. But
Yes.
keep going.
So part of this is William was talking about um, the intention of surrendering into this, letting go, and allowing this shift to happen, to unfold inside of you, to not be afraid of it because it's part of your inheritance. It's part of what you are designed to be gifted with. It's part of what you are coded to receive. It's part of your divine identity, and you will open up when the time is right for you to receive it. So I want to just read 1 Corinthians 15:42, because this is kind of the conversation about the resurrected life. So the body that was sown, that's our human body, is perishable. And, we run away from death, mortality, by trying to escape with all of these comings and goings and doings and workings and tittles and tats and jots and whatever. The body that is raised is imperishable. So this shift is moving from the perishable mind, the perishable program, the program that stood up the child of dust, the man of dust, to come to the point where the man, the Superman, the God in man, could receive that which is imperishable. The program sown in dishonor, meaning the disconnect from the light, so therefore you connected to the program of dark. You attach to the dense matrix of darkness, is raised in glory. That which was sown in weakness is now raised in power. That which is sown as a natural body, that's the flesh, the blood, the bones, the cells, is raised into a spiritual body. So the first man is of dust, the second man is of heaven. As was the earthly man, so are those who are of the earth. And so here's where we're beginning to see now the difference between the earthly man and the heavenly man. And as these shifting energies begin vibrating very high, this recognition, this distinction, this contrast is going to be very great. And it can be highly disturbing as the earthly man fights for his earthly throne.
Mm.
Just as we have borne the image of the earthly man, we took on an image, a program of that which was just a lower human, okay? So we shall now bear the image of the heavenly man. So there's a replacement of images. There's a replacement from the image of the human man of dust, of earth. And then a new program, a new structure, a new mind, a new spirit is placed over. Now this becomes the multidimensional reality. You move from the linear program to the multidimensionality program. So the image of the heavenly man is inserted. And we see things that the earthly man cannot even begin to see. The man of linear reality, the man that operates in the dense lower matrix of reality. And I may sound batshit crazy. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, nor does the perishable inherit the imperishable. In a flash, I tell you a mystery, and it's inconceivable mystery. How can this possibly genetically, at a cellular level, at a brain functioning, neuronal pathways, dendrites, how can this happen in a brain that is a flesh and blood brain? That the perishable will clothe itself with the imperishable, and the mortal with the immortality. When the perishable has been clothed with the imperishable, and the mortal with the immortality. Okay, do you get that? When the mortal mind, the mortal understanding, the mortal programs that have been fixed, attached, that have caused you to believe that that is reality, when that is overlaid with the glory of immortality and the knowledge and the mysteries and the glory that the immortal mind and vision and perspective has now, then this comes true. That which was written, in other words, that which we have read in the books from all the masters,
Mm-hmm.
that we've studied to prove ourselves worthy of the word becoming flesh, blood, and bone. And I mean that in a spiritual aspect now. Then the saying that is written comes true, that death is swallowed up in victory. The resurrected man, the man that is now the heavenly man, the man now that walks with the vision of heaven, the God mind, the mind that understands that which created everything, and that no thing was created without this thing, and that this thing of glory that has come inside of me, and now I am like looking through this screen, this projection. I'm looking through the camera from the eyes of the divine that is looking through me. And so my whole matrix of reality has changed. Romans 8:18 says that the glory will be, it shall be revealed in us. And so I'm provoking you, anyone listening who will listen, who's given the opportunity to come to the mystery revealed, the glory revealed inside. I'm telling you that it is not about something in the future. It is here now. And that message is going to be the new message. It is the message of the new world. It's the message of the new man. And it's the message of the new energy. And that's our next, I think. I didn't turn
But
on my
yeah, it just
timer.
sounds like an incredible. I just think about the New Testament kind of message, and it really does stem from that's a lot of the philosophy there. But we didn't have a grounding effect. We didn't have an experience that we were going through, and I think it's pretty clear that if you walk outside, we're going through something right now, and this message is grounded now.
It's grounded. That's see, you are so good, William. I mean, sweetheart, my gosh, it's grounded. And where is it being grounded from? Where's the grounding now? Where's the anchoring? Why are we finally able to anchor a heavenly reality into a planet, onto a planet, into a no longer human body, but a spiritual body that's going to walk into its light body soon? Where does the grounding come from?
From the is in the time. It's the timing that we're in.
And the timing, though, because time has, inside of time are movements of energy that have been brought into form. If we're in time, we're in form. So
Right.
what is the form now that is grounding and anchoring this energy? It's the earth energy grid.
Right. It's a
So we're grounding our Merkaba now is going into the planet, connecting with the womb, the very iron liquid of the womb, which is the magnetic pull, push and pull of the planet.
or the
We've
black.
entered, well, that is the black goo is the anti Mother Earth's liquid
Oh well, there's
iron.
good black goo and bad black goo. So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
another conversation.
I think we
We'll have
got it.
Harold on. We'll have Harold on for that.
Yeah.
Um,
So let's go to break.
great. Yeah, we'll be right back for our final segment. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Awakening Podcast. Welcome back, Jacqueline. This is our last segment, the Awakening Podcast. Fascinating topics as usual, and we were talking about the grounding and why that's happening. I think that's a really fascinating conversation that everybody's having their own experience in either being grounded or being or being what's the other word, disconnected. Yeah.
And I mean, guys, anyone who finds this message, this is a mindful. Okay, this is a heartful. This is a beliefful. This is greater than any message. This is the greatness of all the messages of all the ascended masters being culminated into we were the seed, and the seed seemed so small, so insignificant. That hard shell, take an acorn, that very, very hard shell around the acorn. And can you imagine being that which is inside of the shell and thinking, or maybe you have no thought because you're so small. You could never begin to conceive of the mechanics of the evolution of a creation, which now I am a creation, of what it takes to soften that hard shell, destroy the hard shell, which is the dense low matrix, so that an oak tree can be resurrected out of that acorn. It's mind-boggling because the caterpillar doesn't look anything like the butterfly. How would you ever conceive, if you'd never seen a butterfly and all you knew was the visual of the caterpillar, how would you ever conceive such beauty that flies everywhere and anywhere? And we are, our chrysalis, our metamorphosis is ending. And I'm going to give you a prophetic word that was given last night for this morning. As we move through the zodiac this year, because the new moon energy from 16 to 19, because of the way Venus squared with the sun and Jupiter, it caused the galactic line. We had alignments of planets at 26 degrees that have never been seen before. That galactic center, that axis, which we shifted over to the other side, is the galactic shift in harmony with our Earth shifting. The 26 degrees that is taking place, the alignments of all these planets, as the zodiac moves through everyone's sign, that is their opportunity to feel the energy and the code being activated. The fire codes are activated. So I encourage you to look at where your opening takes place in this year's journey and receive the gift that is coming towards you, that the glory shall be revealed in you as well, and that you will see reality from such a multidimensional perspective that heaven cannot help but explode through you onto this planet as we begin to structure the new ideas with the new technologies that are going to populate and form the new world that we are going to build, and that you will begin to see dark energy just falling down, gone. And then even the memory of it, that the pain and the suffering that you felt, the pain and suffering that I felt. And
Right. And I know you never like to get into personal stories in your program, but I mean, I can attest to the fact that you've been through a lot in your life. And that's really a remarkable statement.
The pain and suffering
Right.
that I have felt, and I think there's even a scripture, and I believe it's in Romans 8:21, that says the pain and suffering cannot be compared to the glory revealed. The glory is so indescribable that the pain and suffering are burned up. So even the memory of it's so unbelievable. I'm telling you, the hurt, the anguish, the longing that I felt could never be addressed the take the worst horrific testimony on the planet of pain and suffering. Take the worst. Take some of the disciples decapitated, hanged, put in prison. Talk about the current child sex trafficking. Talk about these children in cages. Talk about um, the lowest form of depravity on the planet that you can think of, that humans don't want to think of. But what I'm going to tell you is that all of this darkness, as this light that is being revealed and is shining through those of us that have received this light, this gift of light, this glory, which is the power of God, power of the Creator that created everything that is seen, comes through us, that the lowest, most degraded, depraved program causing suffering will seem like nothing.
Right. Their time has passed. Right. Their time has passed. And I was going to ask you about the shift, because a lot of people heard about the 2021 alignment or 2020 alignment back in December. So this is a little bit different.
Well, we have been for years now. In 1987 was the harmonic convergence, if you remember that. Then the year 2000, we had the millennial shift. Actually, the year 2000 began the golden age, beginning our journey to the golden city. In other words, we got our tickets, we got our vacation outline, and we began walking to the golden city, believing that we were going to get there. Then we had all the blood moons. Then we had the 2020, and now 2021 is the completion of the anchoring of the energy grid. And so all of these events have just been one step closer, preparing for that completion. The completion. The completion of the plan to bring the planet back to the original Eden. This is just, I'm also an author, and I've got just a bizarre sci-fi romance, dragons and demons, and you couldn't make my novel, The Lord of the Rings, don't even compare to this story. And because it's not a sci-fi novel, and because I'm speaking to you as just what you see as a mere human, and cannot conceive that the words that I speak do not come from this human flesh, blood, and bone vessel, you may discount this message, and that's okay. You can. I cannot judge, and you are on your own journey. I'm just telling you my experience. I've been to hell, and you know that. You know my storyline as a child, and I know what that looks like. I know the anguish and the program of the hell structure. And the sad thing about humans is that they think that they're, with their fancy clothes and their cars and their bank account and their titles, that they're not living in hell. And that's the biggest mystery, or the biggest secret ever. Pull the veil off your eyes, and when you begin to see what's really in the swamp, what's really behind that locked door, when you see the caverns full of dead bones, you'll and then you say, oh, I really do want to choose heaven. And you do, and you walk over to this heaven matrix of reality. Wow. This is a mystery.
Yeah, and to be clear, this is a process. This is not something you just do overnight. So it's the little things you do with your intention and your day and your and just having the desire. The desire is really where it is the core thing that drives it. So yeah, if you're completely enmeshed in, and we all are to a certain extent, enmeshed in the system of things that we're giving our energy to that we don't really support. We know that it's not going to good uses, but the way you back out of it is, again, you say it's really mental, is being in that state of really acceptance and joy when you're doing the activity that you know that you're here to do.
And I
Like you're speaking right now, and that's obviously something that you're really enjoying and something that resonates with you, and people can hear it through your messaging.
I will say that when it comes, it will come.
Right.
It your preparation towards that is what will bring you all the way across. But when it comes, it is an allowing of it to come on you, and that training of non-resistance at that point is really important,
Right.
because when it comes, when that full glory hits your mind, hits your heart chakra, and sweeps through your body, and sweeps through all time, all ages, in any program that you had, and your computer program shut off, and you're connected to heaven, it's a lot. So I'm just telling you how to prepare for it. And not everyone is going to receive it because of the resistance and because of what you said, the entanglement. They're not intending to go there. They're not even wanting to choose to go there, because as darkness, as the swamp is being drained and the light is, broken through the veil, and the closet is opened and all the dead bones are revealed. Now we have more, shootings supposedly than ever, and you see the rioting and you see the upheavals. If you choose to remain attached to that, and you look at CNN every night and you read your news threads and you know how many people have died and you know exactly what's going on, and you believe,
Right.
it truly is getting off the wheel of karma. It's getting off. It's
Right.
getting off. I'm telling you.
Well, that's obviously the first step, is just that awareness of that activity. I mean, that is the ultimate form of the matrix control, is the news media. So really, that's really where the first crack has to happen in people's awakening, and to pull your information sources from your, based on your reality and where you want to go, as opposed to buying into some worldwide. I mean, that's how they capture energy, really, through people's fixation on news.
And that's another difficult concept. And the reason that I understand it so well is, without revealing my personal story, is understanding the matrix of Satan, and dark principalities and powers, is to harvest. That is their life force.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is in all of those lower: shame, guilt, rejection, hatred, lust, greed. All of those are energy, and they extract that energy. I mean, we're just and I got that from Devin,
Energy
Matt,
extraction.
and a human extraction, energy extraction machine.
Right. Right.
We're,
Yeah.
we're
Just basically, they're not capable of creation of energy, so they have to
correct.
find energy sources.
And there's another whole conversation.
And they've decided to tap into us through various means. And yeah, we could heck, that's a rabbit hole we could go down. Well, hey, welcome. Sorry, not
Welcome.
welcome.
The
Welcome to.
beginning is the end is the new beginning.
That's right.
We
Thank
got
you.
lost.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the Awakening podcast. We enjoyed your sticking with us through this hour, and look forward to joining you next week. Thank you, Jacqueline.
I love you, and
You too.
namaste.
And it's me on the beach again, and namaste. Welcome to the Awakening podcast.